This is Lady Luna. Last time we talked about masculinity. Today we talk about femininity in today's society and how does it impact us. What is femininity? It is the traits, behaviors, role, and typical normal dispositions associated with girls and women. Traditionally, in many cultures, women are expected to be nurturing, gentle, empathetic, kind, and emotionally aware. They are expected to marry and start families, looking after their children. They are put in more domestic roles, such as taking care of the household, like cooking, cleaning the house, doing laundry, and doing other domestic chores. With rigid gender stereotypical men, women are expected to be in a more serving, submissive position. However, some women see doing these domestic chores as being self-sufficient and serves as a life skill, important just as the men nowadays. Because of rigid gender stereotypes, some men don't think of women in an equal position or standing, leading to public defamation or ridicule, involving sexual harassment, infantilization, and discrimination. Gender inequality has prevailed. In more modern times and recent years, women and girls have challenged typical gender roles, such as exceeding in education, career, and financial issues than men. Men who favor traditional masculinity believe that women and girls shouldn't progress better or shouldn't be more intelligent than males. Sadly, this social dynamic is flipped, and the males can't accept this. They don't want to acknowledge females as equals. Misogynistic behaviors are seen more frequently at an alarming rate, where hostility and violence is encouraged towards women. Aggression is used when a woman or girl doesn't adhere to feminine norms. Men, who are most likely to objectify women and girls in a sexual manner, discussing appearance and body, rather than intellect and their innate qualities. Secure men who are emotionally mature find themselves in positive, more long-lasting relationships with women and girls who prioritize positive traits rather than forced superiority and confidence. If girls and women act or dress in a more masculine way, people in public, their families and friends, might be uncomfortable or insecure and would reprimand them for not being feminine. The world we live in right now has become heavily sexualized. Women on social media and platforms show this hyperfemininity, where they act like damsels in distress, seeking male attention, validation, and support. Wearing feminine clothes, such as ribbons, pom-poms, frilly skirts, dresses, and so on. These women and girls strongly believe by exposing skin on their chest, arms, back, and legs will make them look more attractive and beautiful. Jewelry, perfume, and makeup can be used in excessive amounts to cover up skin flaws and show others they are the perfect female in front of their peers and people in the public. Not all women and girls will adopt excessive feminine ideals and will wear in a more down-to-earth, casual, comfortable manners and don't want to dress for other people's validation, but to express themselves as individuals. These girls and women don't follow fashion trends rather than personal choices they are comfortable with. For instance, I like to wear comfortable but simple and elegant clothing from basic t-shirts with leather jackets, silk blouses, and long, comfortable pants. Because of femininity portrayed in social platforms and mediums, the idea of femininity has been twisted, becoming based on more artificial lenses, such as excessive focus on outer appearance, skin treatments and injections, makeup, and unrealistic skinny body shapes, such as hourglass figures, and slimming heavily down to size 0. This is very concerning, leading to eating disorders such as anorexia. As a Chinese woman in China, I see a very toxic perspective of how women should be. There's this famous dating show where young girls and women are date candidates for potential male guests who are looking for partners. These girls, who are very thin in size and body shapes, multiple girls, some of them collapse or faint due to hunger or malnourishment. I don't know if this show's hosts, audience, and the women themselves think it is okay to faint or collapse due to peer pressure, looking good as an ideal, perfect female on screen or in life. I can't support this toxic perspective that girls and women need to be excessively skinny for men in order to be liked. Sacrificing their health in return for a partner who might think it's normal or accept it without concern or trouble. Women are reduced to dainty, weak, incapable creatures who can't live without surviving on male support, who are seen as naturally more dominant. It is ironic as some women have been independent on themselves, pursuing their education and careers, earning money to look after themselves and be self-reliant. However, society paints a different story. Too much, as in when a girl or woman doesn't follow normal gender norms. She is seen as an enemy, a threat, a tool for validation. If a female possesses dominant traits, same as the men, she might not be respected, such as being very tall or have manly facial features. People would think of her as undateable or not attractive, as she might intimidate or make people insecure or rigid or uncomfortable. The situation doesn't get better, as females who stick to normal gender stereotypes aren't seen as a threat. They're generally left alone at times, but on a large scale, they're seen as sexual commodities rather than normal people. Disrespect, violence, abuse, and harassment are so common, it's distressing. Women and girls are becoming more vulnerable in countries in extreme poverty and gender inequality, where prostitution and child marriage tricks families to give their daughters to trafficking. Thailand, Nepal, and Afghanistan is an example of this. It is sickening to know that children around the age of 14 and women in these countries are exploited for their bodies. They sacrifice themselves for their families who are starving or in deep financial aid, whereas the boys are considered more valuable, an asset to their household, furthering that females are considered weak, incapable beings. The situation in Australia isn't good either. More men and boys who feel lost in their position in society will likely mostly adopt toxic masculinity ideals, where verbal, domestic, sexual, and physical abuse, control, and dominance is implemented for them to belong again. This is so tragic, sad, and unfortunate that regardless of what gender you are, you will face challenges Overcoming these challenges and adversity will encourage personal growth. Not deciding to hate someone you don't know due to their gender, and people should be more open-minded and free to live the life they want. If things are done with genuine respect and consideration, women don't need to scold the men, and the men don't need to fight or control the women. People should see themselves as equal and learn from each other. As a woman, if I was born a male, I would come to see how you expected to be tough and strong. You can't show your emotions easily, so I understand why men and boys have a hard time with their emotions, whereas the men, if they lived as a woman or girl, they'll come to understand the issues of being the weaker sex, such as harassment, discrimination, and so on. They would show better understanding, respect, and empathy towards women. Thank you for listening. This podcast will be available on Spotify and YouTube. Please subscribe to support my channel. I hope to see you soon.